That's the Karl-Anthony Towns I want to see each and every single game. He was dominant last night against the Heat. He was attacking from inside, from outside, getting anything he wanted. On a night where our superstar point guard in Jalen Brunson couldn't find his shot, we needed somebody else to step up. And Karl-Anthony Towns did that. And he helped us get a massive win against an Eastern Conference rival in the Miami Heat. We're going to break down exactly what Cat did, how the rest of the starters helped contribute to this win, especially in that third quarter, and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Cat destroys the Heat with a 44-point masterclass. That's the way you start a road trip. That's the way you take it to another team. You bounce back and you have a big game. Karl-Anthony Towns, the game before this, took only 8 shots. Everybody made him hear about it, and everybody made him understand. As a star on this team, you cannot take 8 shots. You need to be aggressive. You need to make sure you're taking it to the basket, making sure you're making your threes when you're open, doing all of that. Now, he didn't do that in the game before against the Cleveland Cavaliers, but last night against Miami, he was doing everything we wanted to see him do. He was aggressive as soon as the first quarter started, and that didn't stop. He kept that aggression up all the way to the fourth quarter. He was attacking inside. He was getting contact, getting other people in foul trouble, getting Bam in foul trouble, going to the line, hitting his free throws, hitting his threes. He had a big first half, and then in the second half, he continued that. He was one of the major reasons, one of the main factors why the Knicks beat the Heat last night, and why in that third quarter, we turned it all around. We dominated, we kept the lead, and we never let it go. If this Knicks team continues to play this way, and Jalen Brunson hits the shots he normally makes, we are going to blow out teams, and we are going to be unstoppable. Last night's game, even though we had some issues, was very encouraging, and it made me feel hopeful moving forward for the rest of this season. Because if we see that third quarter dominance for 48 minutes, we are going to be an amazing team, unstoppable, and hard to beat each and every night. Towns was phenomenal and helped the Knicks get this victory. Final score, as you see here, the Knicks pull out the victory 116 to 107. You can look at the stats here, but one stat jumps off the page more than anything else, and it's our assist numbers. 30 assists for the Knicks, 27 assists for Miami. A couple of games before this, we were averaging 20 assists only. This time around, we bumped that up to 30, and look at the result. Everybody was eating, everybody was involved, and everybody was able to touch the ball. In that third quarter, where we were dominating, where we took the game for the Miami Heat, who were up 13 points on us in that quarter, the way we took the lead was because we were aggressive. Every single starter in that quarter hit a three. We were aggressive from each and every side. The Heat did not know who was going to make a three. We were unpredictable. We were passing the ball. We were moving without the ball. And that's why the Knicks won that quarter so big. I believe we won that quarter 35 points. 35 points. We turned it around. We never let the lead go. And even though our starter in Jalen Brunson, our superstar point guard, was struggling with his shot, in that third quarter, he woke up, he was efficient, and thankfully, he helped the Knicks take the lead and never give it back. You can criticize Brunson, but in my opinion, he was trying to alter his game last night to get others involved. And because he did that, he was making a lot of mistakes. But he did get others involved. He had 9 assists on the night, and a lot of those assists were to Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, players in the corner waiting to get that three, or cutting in the paint, waiting to make that mid-range. It was beautiful basketball to see, and if Brunson's numbers increase, which you know they're going to, if his efficiency gets better, which you know they're going to, this team is going to look amazing in so many different ways. But going back to the man of the hour, Karl-Anthony Towns, 44 points, 12 rebounds. 17 of 24 from the field, 4 of 5 from three-point range. And this is what head coach Tom Thibodeau had to say about Cat and his performance last night. According to Thibs, I love his approach, not forcing anything, very confident in his ability. He's a lot stronger than he was 5 years ago. There's nothing he can't do. Skill set of a guard in a center's body. The more this team goes through things together, the better it'll get. Another double-double for Cat, but this time it's 44 points and 12 rebounds. I would love to see his rebound numbers increase just a little bit. If he can average 15 rebounds a game each and every night, that would be amazing. Help the Knicks even more on the boards and make us more unstoppable. But I cannot complain with a 44 and 12 performance. A lot of those points he got inside the paint, taking it to Bam, taking it to anybody who was on him. Thomas Bryant for times as well, too. He was driving inside the paint, taking contact, going to the line. He even threw in a hook shot a couple of times in that game, shooting it over a couple of defenders. That's what we need to see Towns do each and every game. If the shot is not falling, drive, use your body, attack, get contact, go to the line, take those free throws, or hit the mid-range, or even better, get other players involved by using your playmaking ability, because he's capable of that as well too. But what he's also capable of is hitting that three-point shot. 4 of 5 from the field. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If Karl-Anthony Towns throws in some fakes in terms of three-point shots and then drives to the basket, he's going to be even more lethal. Faking the three and driving, or faking the three, getting your defender up, and then making that shot and taking contact, 4-point play easily, and you still get the opposing team in foul trouble. That's what you love to see. For me, more than anything else, Towns being aggressive, attacking Bam, who had a poor start to this season and continues to have a poor start. He's a great defender, though, and given what Towns did to Bam last night, he can do that against anybody in the Eastern Conference, let alone the entire NBA. Because if you can do that in a great defender in Bam Adebayo, then you can do it against anybody. I don't want to see any more hesitation. Towns, aggressive, playing like this, makes the Knicks unstoppable. If he was doing this and Brunson was hitting his shots, we would have blown out the Heat by maybe 20 points. Let's make sure we get this right. Let's keep this in our heads here. Jalen Brunson, on an off shooting night, when he wasn't making the baskets he normally would make, we were still able to beat the Heat because other players were able to step up. Now, Jalen Brunson is not going to have a lot of nights where he shoots like that. He's going to be way more efficient. What happens when Brunson becomes Brunson again and Towns continues to be aggressive? This team is likely going to go on a winning streak. How many games we're going to win in a row? Who knows? But that is going to happen. And you heard it here first. But let's take a look at Jalen Brunson and what he did for us last night. Because even though he had an off shooting night, he still put up some good numbers. Shout out to New York Basketball on the app X for giving us the following information. And by the way, guys, if you're not following New York Basketball on X, you must do so immediately. They're one of the best accounts on that platform, and they give you a lot of valuable information. Like information like this. Jalen Brunson, as the Knicks improve to 2-2, 22 points on 6 of 18 shooting. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 6 of 18 shooting. He did not shoot the ball well. What he did do well, though, was get others involved. His assist numbers for the night, 9 assists and 1 turnover. They won't talk about that, though. They'll talk about his rough shooting, but they won't talk about the way he handled the ball, the way he did not turn the ball over, the way he got other players involved. The reason why he was off in terms of his shooting was because he was looking a lot of times to get other players involved, because the night before he even said to himself, it's on him. He needs to be better. He needs to get other players involved. He looked to do that, but clearly that altered his game, and that took him off a little bit. Not to mention that the Heat were double teaming him basically each and every single possession. So he had to be smart and pass out of that. To his credit, he was able to do that, but his shot got affected in the process. However, that third quarter after halftime, somebody said something to him, because that third quarter, he came out efficient. He was hitting threes, attacking the basket, watching the ball go in, and that's exactly what Jalen Brunson needed to do to have himself a better night. That second half in general for the Knicks was absolutely better. The first half, the Knicks defense, I don't know what was going on. Perimeter defense is still a problem, but here's the bigger issue. Inside the paint, our interior defense was extremely poor. It's a weakness. It's more of a weakness this year than it was last year. It's hard not to notice, but last year, we had a lot more resistance inside the paint. Now, not as much. And you can tell that because a lot of the opposing players are going inside the paint at will, shooting over our players, playing the back door a lot. They don't have that same fear of being blocked or the second chance opportunities in terms of rebounds. They feel like they can get the rebound if they miss their shot, and there's not going to be any resistance inside. If they take a shot, they don't have to worry about a block. We need to clean that up just a little bit. For all the good rebounding and scoring that Karl-Anthony Towns did, I just want to see a little bit more from him on the defensive end, at least when he's playing the 5 for us. Block a shot, throw a little bit more resistance in there. What I saw happening a lot of times was Karl-Anthony Towns would drop off a lot. He would play another player back to the basket, and then somebody else, normally his defender, would cut to the basket. He would be late to react, and then they would get the basket. Bam did that a couple of times. Thomas Bryant did that a couple of times. Thomas Bryant was able to pull him to the three-point line and hit a couple of threes on him as well, too. We got to remember, Towns still is working with this team to build his defense and also build that chemistry. We're not a final product yet, but let's keep that in mind as well, too. We're not a final product. We still have so much work left to do, so much more chemistry left to build on, and we're still winning games, and we're finding a way to do it against rival teams, the Miami Heats of the world. That matters. That's important. What happens after 20 games when we get the chemistry right and we're gelling each and every night? This team is going to be even more dangerous. But until then, we still have a lot of issues to work out. The defense is chief among them. But another strong night for our wings in Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. Now, some people might say that they wish that OG was a little bit more aggressive, that they wish Mikal did a little bit more on defense, especially with Tyler Hero going off last night against the Knicks. But you know what? I think it was supposed to be a collective effort to guard Hero, and the Knicks just could not get it done. When you're on a heater like that, it's hard to stop. But let's look at exactly what our wings did last night. Mikal Bridges, as the Knicks win in Miami, 17 points, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. With OG Anunoby, he had 11 points, 3 of 6 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, and 2 steals. Let's start with Mikal Bridges really quickly. Mikal Bridges, each and every game, looks like he's getting more comfortable and more efficient with this team. I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face. Let this man shoot the mid-range each and every time to start the game so his confidence can improve. Because once that happens, come the third quarter, he's going to be making 3 after 3 after 3. It's like clockwork, and now we've seen it each and every game. He did it last night against the Miami Heat, hitting very big threes in the third quarter when we were trying to turn that game around. Him, Jalen, Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, they were part of a run the Knicks made that was 11-0 that helped turn the game around and helped the Knicks take the lead. Hitting those threes were impactful and very important. Mikal Bridges was part of that. He's also not hesitating anymore. He's shooting the 3 when he's open. Even if he has a little bit of resistance or a little bit of space, he's still making that shot. Very similar to Deuce McBride and what he's doing. Very similar to Jalen Brunson and what he's doing. Very similar to Karl-Anthony Towns and what he's doing. But also very similar to OG Anunoby. I mentioned it before, and I got to mention it again. It's important. Every single starter in the third quarter hit a 3 because they're capable of hitting a 3. We've never, ever had that in a Knicks starting unit before. I can't remember the last time each and every starter in one quarter was able to hit a 3. But last night, we saw that on full display. That's what makes our starting 5 so dangerous. We can attack you inside. We can attack you outside. And on any given night, any one of our players can go off. It just so happened to be last night, it was Karl-Anthony Towns' night. But it could just have easily been Mikal Bridges' night, or OG Anunoby's night, or Jalen Brunson's night. It's about sacrifice. You want to know OG Anunoby and the reason why he didn't take more than 6 shots? Because he was too busy playing elite Amazing defense. And he sacrificed his shots to give to Karl-Anthony Towns because he was on a heater and he was doing anything he wanted to do. And when he was going off and getting to the basket, the Knicks were a better team. But OG Anunoby, as we hear from Tom Thibodeau here, had an amazing impact on defense. You're not going to see it in the box score, but if you watch the game, you understood why OG Anunoby got paid so much money. According to Tom Thibodeau, OG Anunoby guarded everyone. The box score doesn't reflect the things he did. It's great to have a player like OG. Great is an understatement. Jimmy Butler. What did Jimmy Butler do last night? Because in my opinion, Jimmy was a ghost. If he had 15 points, it was the most quiet 15 points I've ever seen from him. Talk about being shut down. Talk about elite defense. I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face. You did not pay OG Anunoby to come here and score 25 points, though he's capable. You didn't pay OG Anunoby to get a double-double each and every night, though he's capable. You paid OG Anunoby to score when he's open, be more aggressive, and play lockdown defense on the opposing players who are great in the league, the star players in the league. He did that last night. He did that against Jimmy Butler. You can say Jimmy's older, whatever the case may be. That team normally goes by Jimmy. And if Jimmy's off, that entire team's going to be off. And we saw that happen. The Knicks bothered Bam. The Knicks bothered Jimmy. And we were able to steal that game away from the Miami Heat in that third quarter. OG Anunoby and his defense was chief among them. But we do have to talk about a couple of issues. Now, I already mentioned one of them. It's the defense, the three-point defense, but also now the interior defense. Something to look at moving forward. But one of the main issues that I saw last night was the Knicks bench, specifically the scoring. Deuce McBride, 10 points. Jericho Sims, 2 points. Cam Payne, 0 points, 5 assists. Love the assists, but there's a problem here. 12 bench points. The night before, I think it was 15, maybe 18. The night before that, definitely under 20 still. We have a problem here. The starters had to play 42 minutes, 40 minutes, 38, 37 minutes, and it's game 4. We cannot run the starters that many minutes in game 4 because if we continue to do this and play this trend, we know how this game plays out. We're going to risk injury. Somebody's going to go down. We're going to say next man up mentality just to make ourselves feel better, but we're going to be dealing with another injury. And I do not want to see that happen. We need to make sure we're getting more scoring off the bench. 10 to 12 points off the bench is not going to get it done. When we're playing elite teams in this league, the Boston Celtics of the world, the Denver Nuggets of the world, OKC, when we play those teams, if our bench is scoring like this, we're going to get blown off the floor. This is not acceptable. We have to do more. The Knicks need to add another scorer to this roster. They need to add another shooter. Hopefully that shooter is Matt Ryan or somebody else that can come off the bench and can be damn near automatic in the corner. We're going to need to find somebody else off the bench to score because 10 to 12 points is not going to get it done. Another thing to look at, another problem, 8-man rotation. Tom Thibodeau played 8 players last night. He did that the game before as well, too. I'm sorry, Thibs. I understand you want to win the game, but you have to play the rookies if you have no other depth to go to. Play Pacome. Play Tyler Kolek. Get that rotation up to 10 and then trim it to 9 when you get to January, when you get to December. I'm fine with that. But as of right now, we can't play 8 players. If we continue to play 8 players, somebody's going to go down with an injury. I'm not hoping for that. I don't want that. But we've seen this happen last year, and we're running the exact same script this year, just with different personnel, thinking that that's going to change things. It's not. You can't play players that many minutes. Josh Hart, who came into this game with 2 nagging injuries, an ankle injury and a shin injury, played the most minutes on this team at 42 minutes. And Josh Hart was efficient. He was playing some of the best basketball that we've seen him play all season long. I love to see that. I love to see Josh Hart out there. Don't get me wrong. It was amazing to watch his play. All of that considered, 42 minutes with 2 nagging injuries in game 4. Say what you want to say, but that's a problem to me. Tom Thibodeau, I'm looking at you. Towns being aggressive while Jalen Brunson is efficient, along with the starters playing lockdown defense, that's what I want to see each and every night. We have the talent, we have the coach, we have the roster, and we're more than capable. Last night proved that without any doubts. I want to see this type of Knicks team moving forward each and every game, because that means we're going to be unstoppable. We're going to be running through the league. We're going to be putting wins together, and we're about to hit a winning streak. This road trip, we are about to dominate. You could make the argument that we just got past the hardest team on this road trip. Next stop is Detroit. And guess what's waiting for the Knicks in Detroit? A blowout victory. I don't care who they have. I don't care what they're doing. I don't care how long they've been together. Detroit is getting slaughtered, massacred, annihilated by this Knicks team. We just woke up last night. Everybody just woke up a beast, just woke up a cat. And now you guys have to deal with him. We're not dealing with him anymore. We're going to let him loose. He's out of his cage. You deal with that monster. You deal with 44 points. You deal with that aggression, because come Friday night against Detroit, it doesn't matter who it is, where you are, what your team is ranked at. The only thing that matters is how many points you want to get dropped on your head. And I'm thinking against Detroit, it's gonna be a slaughter. But what about you guys? What do you think about Karl-Anthony Towns and the Knicks' dominant performance last night against the Miami Heat, where the Knicks beat the Heat 116-107? Let me know what you liked about last night's game, what you didn't like about last night's game, and if you agree with me, if the bench scoring concerns you at all. Leave a comment below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick fans. Peace.